All right, and we are live. How you doing, Kitty? Everything good?
Good. How you doing, Joe?
It's been a while. It's been a while since we did one of these shows.
Yeah.
Talk Soup, obviously, with some of them, with the Disney Plus series being on a little bit of a hiatus until tomorrow, with What If coming out tomorrow. But
hmm
we haven't done one since not even the Loki finale, right? Because you weren't there for that, right? The Loki season finale. I think I did it with me. It was just me and Jawan.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So it's been a while, but glad to have you back. And we are going to obviously from the thumbnail and the description, you guys should know by now. We're going to be talking spoilers for the brand new Suicide Squad that just dropped. It's a little spoiler review. We're going to get into that. Kitty, you have a whole bunch of notes you said for me, so I'm curious to know what you have written down because I have nothing written down. I'm going completely off the hip. I did watch this movie twice already, and I know you said you did too.
3 times.
Okay, well, you have an extra viewing on me, so even
Yeah.
better. Okay, so let's get into it. What did you think of this soft reboot, sequel, whatever they want to call it? What did you think of this version of the Suicide Squad?
I absolutely loved it. I loved it so much I watched it 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you had to have liked it or loved it if you watched it 3 times. So
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone could have gathered just by the fact that you watched it 3 times. But why did you love this film?
I thought that the essence of how he captured a comic book
Hmm.
in the movie was great. His placement of just music and visuals, the gore, the action, everything was just beautifully done. And he even, when you're looking up the comic books, it was like a beautiful like poem to the comics. Like he just stuck the landing on it for
You
me.
did.
I just
Yeah.
thought. And when you're just reading how people are ripping it apart and even saying the first one was better, I'm just like, what are you even talking about? Like, when they're referencing like Starro is the stupidest villain, like that is literally a pick me up from the comics. Like he just stuck that too, and it's just amazing. I just thought it was beautiful, like the way he did it. Like when he like even in the sequences where he's writing like Operation, you know,
Yeah.
Jotunheim scratched out Operation Harley. It was just beautiful to me. I just thought it was a masterpiece, and anybody who craps on it has no idea what a comic book is in my mind. So I thought it was great.
I mean, not only crap on the film, but then you're gonna say a double lie and try to say that the first one that
Yes,
came out in 2016 was better than this. I don't know which movie you're watching.
right, right,
Yeah, I don't know if you're watching the theatrical cut, the director's cut, the extended cut. Doesn't matter. All the cuts are inferior to this.
right.
I
And
look.
I
I'm
love
not.
that he like had like 55 characters and just kill them all off, and
Yeah,
you're left with like 4 at the end. Like
I'm
that's
not surprised. Well, I didn't. I guess I should have expected that. I'm not surprised by how much I enjoyed this film because I knew once James Gunn was said to be directing this film, I knew that this movie was going to be in good hands.
yes,
I didn't think I was gonna. I'll be honest. I didn't think I was gonna like it as much. I had a little bit of a reserve only because of how detached I was to the characters in the first film.
yes,
He completely did. He for me it was a complete 180 because, and this was the one of the big parts why I like this film. I cared for every single character,
yes.
including a rat,
Yeah, I know.
including a rat.
You,
I mean, he made me care. He made me actually on the edge of my seat sometimes because I thought something was going to happen to that rat. I was like,
yes,
you kill that fucking rat, I'm going to be pissed off.
yes, yeah.
So just the fact that I cared so much, I think his name was Sebastian, right?
Sebastian,
Yeah.
yes,
He made me care that much just for a little rat, but it was all the other characters. I love that he did what he did in the beginning of the film.
yes,
Raised the stakes. Nobody's safe from death in this film. I mean, except for Harley Quinn, you knew she wasn't going to die, but you know, and Peacemaker, even though we got that, the death scene in the film, I was a little stunned. I was like, wait a minute, because he's getting his own movie. What's going on? But then you see in the end credits, he's still alive.
well, his own show, his
Yeah,
own
he's got
series.
his
Like
own series.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like I think it's like a 4 or 5 episode series.
So
Yeah,
when I knew he was getting his own show, I was like, okay, so that either changes it to a prequel, or something. And then, of course, like I said, we got the fact that he is still alive as is Weasel. But I found that opening scene to be hysterical. From TDK with his
Yeah,
arms.
when Harley was like his detachable kid, and she
Yeah.
was like, "Are you what the fuck?" That was
Yeah.
It was amazing. Amazing.
Everything. It was just the jokes the jokes that landed were great. I should say the jokes landed, none of them missed. I had no problem with Starro. I mean, a hell of a better villain than fucking Enchantress dancing.
And that's the funny part is Enchantress is a good villain, but the
No,
way
they
they
screwed it up.
did it, they screwed her up
Yeah, no.
so bad.
I'm not knocking Enchantress at one bit. I'm
Yeah.
talking about what they ended up doing.
Right.
That
right.
just that scene at the end, like I said, that was one of the main reasons why I hated the film.
Right. Right.
But yeah, I mean, Starro, it's a comic book movie. That is literally the essence of a comic book film.
Exactly. I think that's why I liked it. It's like you're going in and you're watching the movie and you're just like, it's a comic book movie. Even the visuals when Harley's like coming out with and she's escaping, you have the visuals of the comic with the flowers, and you're like, it's a comic book movie, guys. Come on, like snap out of it. You're supposed to get that stuff.
And they did have a little bit more of a free range because it was R-rated. Which some of the scenes when you knew why it was R-rated. And Harley Quinn stole the show for me.
Oh,
she really did.
Amazing.
Oh man, so much better in this one than she wasn't. And I thought she was the brightest part. Her and what do you call it? Deadshot. Will Smith's character is Deadshot, right?
Yeah, Deadshot.
Okay, I just want to make sure it's not Deadshot.
Deadshot and Bloodsport. Yeah, Deadshot. Yeah.
So Will Smith, I actually enjoyed in the first film.
Absolutely.
And Harley Quinn. So the fact that they took her, obviously you knew she was going to be in this film, and then just even raised the bar even higher.
Yeah.
And that one scene where she escapes the jail.
Yeah.
And she just a complete bloodbath with the guns and what I loved it. Absolutely.
I think my favorite part with Harley Quinn was she just stuck this too. When she passes out and the guy leaves and she just looks up and looks at him, and I was like, wow, she stuck that.
That's
great.
Was
amazing.
It was great. Even the interrogation scene when she says 69.
Yeah.
And then she laughs and she's singing nobody I ain't got nobody.
Mm-hmm.
But this one scene in particular, the one that I'm using for the background, when she comes out guns blazing and she's just like turning and spinning and shooting, I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Right.
And of course, as I said, I loved all the other characters as well. I didn't really not like a character. I thought they all had their part and they all did it well.
Yeah, and I especially like that, he reinvented Ratcatcher because, Ratcatcher is his own comic book, and he turned it into a girl, and it's Ratcatcher too. And he evolved the character into his daughter. I like that. That was a really cool concept that he did.
Yeah.
So that was really cool to me. And then you get really like stuck and you're falling in love with these rats, especially Sebastian. You're just like, oh my God, I really like this rat. I don't want anything to happen to this rat.
The other ones I could have did away with. The other ones I didn't really care about because they were more CGI. They weren't really, CGI was a little wonky with those. So I really didn't care about the other rats, but Sebastian, hands down, was just the fact, was waving and she's like, is that rat waving at me?
Yeah.
It appears it is.
Yes.
So cool. I agree. Did you catch, I didn't. I thought it was at my first viewing when she does the flashback of the father. I was like, is that Taika? And I dismissed it. And then later on, it's confirmed that it was like, oh shit, it is Taika Waititi playing the dad.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, that's Taika Waititi playing Ratcatcher.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
But I do know James Gunn's brother plays Weasel.
Oh yeah, he has two parts in that film.
I know he has two parts, but I was just like, I know one of them's Weasel, and then I'm trying to figure out who the other one was.
He's the other guy that calls. I think he calls Polka Dot Man a pussy. Does he call Polka Dot Man a pussy or something like that?
Yeah, he was one of the people in jail.
He's got from what I read about that character, because he's got actually the months written on his forehead.
Yeah, I think it was
Calendar Man or something
Calendar
like that.
Man. Yeah, Calendar Man. Yep.
But the one thing I had asked you, I caught this right away because, I am a big Marvel fan and obviously James Gunn fan. So I messaged you. I was like, I want to know if you caught something that I did. When they first go into that club to catch the Thinker, there's girls dancing on the stage. Did you catch who was one of those dancers?
No.
Mantis, the girl that plays Mantis in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he brought her on to play
No.
one of the dancers on there. I was like, oh, I don't know her name. It's like not Moncrief. What, I can't think of her real name. But I know that's the girl that plays Mantis. And then I looked up. I wanted to make sure I was right, and I looked at IMDb. I was like, oh shit, it is the girl that plays Mantis. So yeah, I caught that right away.
I did not know that. I did
Yeah,
not
yeah.
know that.
But yeah, I love that. I really do enjoy. I enjoy this film a lot. And if I had a rank, because remember we did our DC EU ranking.
Oh yeah.
I know this isn't part of the DC EU anymore, but I would have this movie so far up there, and it might just be number one, to be honest with you.
It'd probably be my number one too.
Yeah, it was that good. It really was. The James Gunn, I knew was going to stick this movie. I was just worried about how I was going to feel about the characters after seeing a film already with them in it. But he did such a great job. He gave us some of the old characters in Boomerang and Rick Flag, and of course Boomerang dies in the very beginning, as do most of them, which I thought was hilarious and great.
Yeah.
Now, did you pick up? Because I did. I was like, okay, when they were not middle of the film, maybe right before it, because she's got the javelin. I was like, oh, okay. I know what she's going to do with the javelin. Now I know what it's for. I thought she was going to use it to throw and go right into his eye. But she ends up taking the javelin, obviously piercing through it, going through it, and then it's the rats that actually come in and take him down by chewing on his membrane. But I, at one point, said, okay, she's going to use the javelin. But again, I was half right. I thought she was going to throw it, and that was what's going to put him down. But how funny was it when Polka Dot Man sees everybody was his mom?
That was
That
funny.
was great.
Yeah.
Especially when Starro
became his mom.
Idris Elba's like, look who that is. It's your mom.
It's great. It's great. I was sad when he died too.
Yeah.
I love Sylvester Stallone playing that shark. I'll tell you.
Awesome. King Shark and the the effects that they used, how his skin looks so realistic.
Oh yeah.
Like they did such a great job. Like it didn't look stupid.
Yeah.
I remember when I first heard about the characters that were going to be used, and and we've seen trailers for it or whatever, and you got a sense of what the comedy was going to be like. Obviously, from the trailers, we got the whole, bag of dicks from on the beach, and John Cena saying he'll eat all the dicks. That's whatever. So I already knew that part. So we knew that even the scene with the hand. So we knew we were getting stuff like that. So I knew King Shark was going to be funny from some of the trailers, but the way he looked blew me away. It
was amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. He looked like a shark. Like,
yeah. No, it was
amazing.
They did a really good job. And it was another one of those characters that at every scene he was in where he was fighting, we're like, oh no, I hope he doesn't die. I hope he doesn't get killed, because you don't know.
It just seems like he doesn't die though.
Yeah, they were just shooting the shit out of him. He just gets up.
Like no matter what happens to him, he doesn't die. So that was good. So I was like, this is one of those characters that are just not going to die.
Look what it is, our friend Moondog Entertainment.
Hey, James.
So Moondog actually watched the film with me when I watched it a second time. So he can actually add something if he wanted to. And for someone that's not really a fan of comic book films, he liked it. So that's saying a lot. He's saying, I think that says a lot about this film. If somebody can and also too, and I explained this to them, I said, this is the type of movie that you can just jump into and watch, because the first Suicide Squad is not related to this.
No.
With the exception of using some of the same characters. And it's its own film. So you can just watch this. You don't have to watch any other DC film.
Yeah.
So this was a good one to watch, and he enjoyed it.
That's good. Yeah.
I'm curious to see what else, because right after this film came out, basically it said, DC's not done with James Gunn, and and rightfully so, they shouldn't be. And I know,
especially because now he's doing. He said he already has the whole story written for Peacemaker.
Yeah.
So that show is supposed to come out, and that's going to be part of that whole world that's supposed to be created next. So we'll see what happens with that. Peacemaker wasn't my favorite character, but I like that he's like that MCU. What's it called? Who's that character from Captain America? The other character, the one who Super Patriot. I like that he's like the super patriot,
Oh,
you know, and that essence, he wants to do good, but he's doing it in the wrong direction type of thing. But he's that version in the DC world.
doing it. He's for good, but at any cost.
Yeah, at any cost, even though it's the wrong way to do it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I like that. That's their version of him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
James said he enjoyed it. Definitely was a good time, and he loves Margot Robbie. But everyone did a great job, and I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't not love Margot Robbie. That's number one.
Oh yeah, especially when I saw Yondu in the beginning.
But yeah, but as Harley Quinn, she just nails it. And this was to date, with Birds of Prey and the first Suicide Squad included. To date, this is my favorite version of her so far.
Oh, absolutely! Like when she came out in that outfit too, because that I think James Gunn said they pulled that outfit from one of the comics she was in.
I believe
jacket.
Yeah.
So I was like that was one of my favorite outfits she's been in thus far. And then when they put her in this dress and she was just kicking ass and it ripped the dress off and did the fighting scene with it, it was great. I loved it.
I mean, look, they even used the creator of Suicide Squad in the film.
Yes, he was the one who injecting all the stuff.
He injected into Yondu.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he injected into Yondu.
You know what?
Savant.
What's his face? Savant. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what was one? There was one other part I wanted to talk about. I forgot what it was. James said, "Let me put his comment up so maybe I can remember." Love Stallone as King Shark. I did too. Even before I knew it was him, I thought it was awesome. He was part of it. Yeah. So James knew Sylvester Stallone was in it because of the credits, but he didn't know that he voiced King Shark. I was like, no, he voiced King Shark, but he did a great job.
So did you hear about Sylvester Stallone? Like they tried out a whole bunch of people. They weren't going to use Sylvester Stallone, and they tried out a whole bunch of voices for King Shark, and it wouldn't work. And then James Gunn was like, I gotta call Sylvester Stallone. So they called Sylvester Stallone, and he's like, yeah, I'll do it. And then he just fit right in with the voice.
I mean, I'm glad, and I'm not sure. I know it's not just because of this, but I do like the fact that even though James Gunn was working on a DC film, he didn't hesitate to call some of his Marvel counterparts.
Absolutely.
And the guys he worked with, Michael Rooker is obviously one of them. Stallone was in Guardians of the Galaxy. Obviously, Taika's a huge part of Marvel now. He's part of the Marvel family now.
Mm-hmm.
So, and of course, like I said, the girl that plays Mantis. So he did use a good amount of people, including his brother, but his brother's James Gunn's brother's in almost everything he does.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm curious to know if they're going to do a sequel to this, and I'm hoping they do. I really hope. It just sucks that they are kind of getting nailed at the box office right now. I think a lot more people decided to watch it on HBO Max than go in the theaters, and I get it. I understand why.
Yeah, of course.
And then you got these stupid people that are review bombing the movie for no reason.
No reason. They're review bombing everything, though. I mean,
it's just unbelievable. It's so stupid. I mean, if you don't like the movie, you don't like the movie. I get it.
Yeah.
But there's no way on earth you can say that this film was bad. It might not be your favorite, but to say it's bad, I don't think by any means it is.
There's nothing. It's and from what I'm like reading, it's all those Schneiderverse haters too. Yeah. So it's just like we get it. Okay, I get it. But there's no way that this movie was bad.
No.
I love Schneider. I love Schneider. But come on, relax.
The only thing that I can say about this film is maybe its runtime. A little long, but at the same time, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It wasn't a 4-hour cut of a film like some other films. But I mean, look at Endgame. Endgame was 3 hours, or a little over 3 hours. And because I loved it so much, I didn't feel the runtime.
Yeah.
I'm not saying necessarily I felt the runtime in this one, but I think that's the only thing that I can say about it is maybe it was a little longer than it should have been. There might have been a couple of scenes that you didn't need, but at the same time, that's it. There's nothing else bad I can say about this film. And that's not even really saying anything bad about it.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had to give it one critique, that's it.
Yeah. But I mean, most comic book movies now are running a little longer than they should be.
Yeah.
But
I think they could have made this an even 2 hours. I don't think that they really needed to go that high.
Could I
What
have
else?
done? I mean, there's one scene I think I could have really done without, to be completely honest with
Tell
you.
me which. It might be the one I was thinking of, and I just couldn't remember what it
It
was.
was the one where Harley was, having relations with.
I know. I thought that was funny though, because they were just tearing up the place.
I mean, yeah,
I
but
get it. Yeah.
it was just like, okay, it was there. It was an okay scene, but was it necessary?
It was just to show how crazy she was, like how she turned on a dime.
I get it.
Yeah.
And it was backlash of her being with Joker.
Yeah.
It was an explanation. I get it, but
I loved it.
It was just one of those.
No,
it was just like she's insane. Like, I
She's
love
like,
it.
I said if there was ever any red flags, and she goes, I know what you're saying. Why didn't you just leave? Well, stop yelling at me.
Yeah.
And then she's like, and killing kids is red flags.
Yeah.
I thought it was a cool scene. The one thing I didn't get, maybe you did, I just didn't look into it too deep, or deep enough to understand it. What was the visualizations of the birds? What's the correlation? Obviously, the very beginning of the film, Michael Rooker's character kills a bird with the ball. Then you got them kill. Well, she's with him with the birds, and then they set them on fire. What was the whole thing with birds in this film?
I have no way. I just thought it was like a callback to like Birds of Prey, because
That's what I thought of.
one of the group members is in Birds of Prey. I want to say it's. I have this note.
I thought Birds of Prey too.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
I want to say it was what's his face? Savant. Savant's in Birds of Prey.
He is? Well,
Savant
in the
was
comics.
in Birds of Prey. Yeah.
In the comics or in the movie?
In the comics.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's what I took, because when I was like, what's the bird correlation? And Savant was in Birds of Prey and also Suicide Squad.
Okay.
So I think that was kind of the tie back.
I get it. All right. Well, that's the only thing that I can think of on the top of my head is Birds of Prey, but I just couldn't put the correlation. I couldn't put what was binding them together, and why the use of birds as a visualization in this film.
Yeah.
But all right. Yeah, no, again, if I had to score this film, it's definitely in the 9s for me.
Yeah.
It's a really good film, and it's probably for me to say this too, because I love the MCU as much as I do. It's probably better than most of the MCU films I even enjoy.
I would say that. I love the MCU films.
Not all. I don't think it could touch my top 10, but it's definitely up there.
No, and it was hard for me to rank the MCU films because I love them so much. And I would say that this would go into me. It would probably go up against some of my MCU films.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, definitely the bottom, like 18. Or not 18, the bottom 13. I would assume. I would hope bottom 13.
Yeah.
There's no way Thor Dark World is better than this.
No.
Or Iron Man 3.
No.
But no, like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed this film. A lot more than I even thought. And like I said, with the mention, or the announcement, I should say, of James Gunn directing this film, I kind of figured we were going to get a film like this. I just didn't see. I figured it was going to be a Guardians of the Galaxy in DC, and that's exactly what we got. We got these obscure characters that, if you're not really familiar with the comics, you don't really know about them. There were some elements in this film that was in the first Suicide Squad. Few people died in the beginning. You have characters, like characters that eat people, like Killer Croc, and then you got King Shark. There were a couple of things that were, and of course, Bloodsport and Deadshot are almost kind of the same character. Yeah. Deadshot was more of like a sniper, but they were almost like the same character, and they had the daughter. So there were some elements that they were mirroring each other, but other than that,
I think when the movie was first being made, it was kind of like Idris was going to replace
Will Smith
and be Deadshot, and I like that he did not, because Will Smith's character is one that made the last movie, and it was one of the reasons why the last movie I was liking it by a hair, because of Will Smith and Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that they made this character.
I agree. I'm glad they didn't recast for Will Smith's character, and they just replaced it with a different character. It just makes sense. They have plenty of it. They have plenty, and they did fine.
Yeah.
So,
guys. I love that scene where I'm just gonna say this because this is one of my favorite scenes. When I rewound it a few times when she went into the cab and she saw them coming out.
Love it.
And he was going up the wall.
Yeah.
She came out. She's like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "We're saving you." It was like, I can go back inside. He goes, "That's patronizing." I rewound it so many times because I just love that whole scene.
What about right before that scene where King Shark is trying to like sneak up on the guy? Did you see him like going like that? I thought that was hysterical. I thought, look, again, I really found this movie so enjoying it. It was funny all throughout the film.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't too like it wasn't overdone.
Yeah.
We were like, all right, that's, you know, okay, whatever, you know, but I just really, again, I did. And it's all the characters. They all worked. Even Milton. Even the scene with Milton dying.
Yeah, Milton. But that whole scene with Milton, she's like, "There's a Milton?"
And then she's like, she looks at him, she goes, "Oh, Milton." Oh God.
So great.
But again, it's because of Harley Quinn.
It is.
It's her. It's the way Margot Robbie played this character, or the way she was directed. You know, it could have been also James Gunn telling her to do this or do that. But again, this version of Harley Quinn that we got is the best to date. I'm gonna say it one more time, and then that's it.
And I've been watching the animated series. And
I know you told me that. I haven't watched it yet.
Animated series pretty on point. She does a really good job of her too. And I was thinking to date, that's probably the best version of Harley Quinn. To date, she's knocked that one out of the park.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the best live action.
The best live action. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And again, you guys know from if you watched it, you should know from the DC rankings that I actually held Birds of Prey up there. I put Birds of Prey up there. I enjoyed it.
So did I. Yep.
And one of the main reasons is her and Black Canary. Yeah. She's great in everything. She was phenomenal. She was phenomenal once upon a time. Yeah.
She is great. She's a great actress.
I agree. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna end this now. Of course, drop a comment. You haven't done so in the live chat. I mean, James, of course, did. I appreciate the support, James. Thank you for watching. But guys, leave a comment. Let us know what you thought of the film. Did you like this better than the 2016 version? I really hope you did, because then we can't be friends. But what did you think overall about the film? Me and Kitty both give it 2 thumbs up. We enjoyed it immensely. She watched it 3 times. I watched it twice. I may watch it again. It was that good. So, guys, if you haven't watched it yet, go ahead and do so. Of course, click the like button, please, and help support the channel by subscribing. It doesn't cost money. Just hit subscribe. That's all you got to do. And be on the lookout. So we got a couple of other shows coming up soon. So this Thursday, we're going to do a fun one.
Yeah.
It's already posted on my channel, so it's already advertised. On Thursday, we're going to take 2 of the hard seltzers. I know there's more than 2, but if we drank all of them, we would be too blitzed.
Yeah.
So we're going to take the 2 top ones. Truly versus White Claw. Me, Kitty, and our other special guest right here, Moondog, James from Moondog Entertainment. All 3 of us are going to try 4 of the Truly, 4 of the White Claw, and we're going to tell you which one we think is better. So if you guys like hard seltzers, or, if you're into that, if you're not, it's fine. Because, I mean, they're good, but they're not that good.
Or just come on and get schmammered with us.
Well, come on, yeah. You know what? Grab some grab some Truly, grab some White Claw. You don't have to drink as many as we are. Just grab 1 and 1. Do a little taste test with us while we're on. And let us know what you thought too. And then, of course, if there's other seltzers that you guys have tried that you think we should do next, we're up for feedback as well. And then, of course, the following week, it's slated to be for Thursday of the 19th, but we don't know if that's going to be the day. But we got our spoiler review for A Quiet Place 2. And at one point, I didn't post about it yet, but at one point we do want to get out there. And I know James from Moondog Entertainment is probably going to join us for that one. We're going to do our Spiral from the Book of Saw spoiler review.
Good times.
And that's it. So we got a lot of things coming up the pike. Of course, What If starts tomorrow, so we maybe, I don't know if you're going to watch it. I'm probably going to watch the first episode.
I'm going to watch it. Yep.
I want to see what it's about. Maybe we can do a review on that. So we do have a lot of things coming. So my point, although dragged out, subscribe. That way you know it's coming. That's what she said. All right, Kitty. Again, thank you for coming on. I always enjoy our streams together. And James, as always, thank you for your support, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, I'll talk to you soon, guys. Have a good night.